Sunny spells and largely dry again. The outlook is settled but turning cloudier. I'll have all the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Wednesday, 30...
I bet there's none left at your house, Laura.
I was really good. I'll buy them. I'll put them in the understair cupboard, and I kept finding reasons to go in there. Oh. So now I need to buy more because there's none left.
There's none left. But you have perfect teeth because you brush them.
No, I have really terrible teeth.
Right, you're not helping the argument.
I never get a sticker at the dentist. I'm there all the time as well. But, you know, before I go on to the UK weather, you talked about the pictures in Spain of the flooding there. Is absolutely crazy. So it's So rainfall totals there at the moment are pretty huge. We're talking 185 millimetres of rain in 24 hours. That is 3 to 4 times the whole month's worth of rainfall in 24 hours, and there is much more to come. There's more rainfall to come in the south of Malaga, more across eastern areas in Valencia through the next few days. Good morning to you. We've had pretty settled weather lately, and that is set to continue. The why continues to be high pressure. It acts literally like a force field. It sits anchored across the UK, and when weather fronts come in, they ride over the top. Some make a little progress across northern areas of Scotland, but not much. The one thing that happens through the next week or two. So let's take a look at our outlook, where we look at what happens as we head through the next week, and we split the country in half, looking at Scotland, Northern Ireland, northern areas of England first of all. This white line is where temperatures should be for the time of year, a little above that as we head through the next few days, back to around about average into next week. Percentage chance of rainfall across the north of the UK, low for today. Chance of some wet weather towards the end of the working week, but actually that's just across the far north of Scotland as those weather fronts move in. And then into next week, pretty cloudy and fairly grey. Fortunes further south for England and Wales as we head through the next 7 days. Again, temperatures are above average, moderating a little, maybe below into next week as it gets cloudier. And percentage chance of rainfall remains low. We'll just notice the cloud thickening up through the weekend into next week. Thick enough to give the odd spot of rain and drizzle in the air. But for many of us, high pressure, keeping it largely dry and fine. Good morning to you. The weather is settled at the moment because high pressure sits across the country. Low pressure brings unsettled conditions. That's what we've been seeing across Spain with the flooding over the last few days. But high pressure anchored across the UK stops the low, stops the weather fronts. One makes a little progress across the north, but by and large it is dry, but also fairly cloudy. Welcome back to Good Morning Britain. Now, weather-wise, it's been pretty settled, and that theme continues for the rest of the week, in fact, into next week as well. Lots of people saying, is it going to stay dry? For many of us, yes. Here's why. High pressure, it literally is like a force field. And these weather fronts that are trying to make progress, it keeps most of them at bay, one into the north of Scotland tomorrow. Welcome back to Good Morning Britain. Our weather's been pretty settled over the last few days. That's thanks to high pressure. It acts like a force field, doing its very best to stop these weather fronts making progress. And it does a pretty good job. Some rain across the north of Scotland tomorrow, but by and large, it is fine and dry, not just for the rest of this week, into next week as well. It does mean there's a lot of cloud moving around, but it breaks up and revealing some gorgeous sunshine. And when the sunshine comes out, it will feel very pleasant indeed. Pretty cloudy first thing, especially through western areas where we have hill fog yet again, but it lifts and breaks. The best of the breaks with some shelter. So the northeast of Northern Ireland, much of Scotland, eastern areas of England, right along the south coast as well. Central and western areas always seeing a little bit more cloud, but temperatures still above average with highs of 17.